Wednesday, May the 6th. Lake level is about 9:15 3/4. It's actually come up probably 4 or 5 inches. They haven't been doing much generation. Water temperatures, 67, 68 degrees pretty much all over the lake. Like we talked last week, I was kind of curious. I thought there'd be another wave of fish, coming in with the full moon and the warmer water temperature. Well, there has. I mean, there's fish spawning again all over the lake, and I think we'll probably have fish spawning up into June. There's a lot of them that are done, but a lot of the fish I've caught this past week have been all pre-spawn fish out over a lot of the main lake points, and I'm catching post-spawn fish in the same area. I mean, the fishing since about, probably Saturday when it really got nice and that water temperature got up another 2 or 3 degrees. It's kind of been going crazy. I mean, you can catch 20 to 45 fish a day right now. Some days you'll have 8 to 10 keepers, some days you'll have 20 keepers. It just all depends what you're doing. You catch them all kinds of different ways. One of the most funnest way right now, especially the last 2 days, we've had clouds in and out, and the topwater bite has been really good. Now, I seem to be doing a little bit better with the topwater, like up in the White River, up in the James River, and up around Kimberling City. I hadn't been down at the dam very much. They may be working good down there, but the areas I've been fishing have got a lot of post-spawn fish and also a lot of fish that have a lot of pre-spawn fish. And the way I've been catching them, I've been catching them on 3 or 4 different baits. This particular bait here is a storm jointed thunderstick. You've heard me talk a lot about the redfin. This is pretty much the same thing as a redfin. The bone color, bone and white seems to be working real well. The jointed redfin looks just about identical to the storm thunderstick. But, you'll find that the storm thunderstick, day in and day out, runs a little better. And a lot of the biggest problem I see my clients do is people fish these things too fast. What you want to do is after the bait hits the water, you want to keep the bait up on top. You might be able to catch them like a wake bait, reeling it real fast, and I will mix it up through the day. But most of the fish I'm catching on them, the jointed redfin and the thunderstick, I'm having to work the bait real slow and just keep it up on top, waddling back and forth. Another bait you can throw, you can catch them on a Zara spook. I've been throwing this Strike King quite a bit. It's about the same size as a spook. It's called a Sexy Dog. I've been throwing it in a clear color, and then a Chartreuse Sexy Shad as well. The thing I like about this, it's got 3 hooks on it. Now where I'm throwing this, I'm throwing it on a lot of main lake points. A lot of times I'll have the boat setting in 50, 60, even 80 foot of water. But what they are is they're where the main river channel comes against either bluff ends or points leading into spawning areas. Some of the fish that have already got through spawning have moved back out. And a lot of the fish that haven't spawned yet are coming up out of that deep water, just staging, getting ready to go back in. There's also been some big white bass mixed in with them. You'll catch all 3 species in the same areas. You'll catch smallmouth, Kentuckys, and largemouths. Most of the topwater fish, I'm going to say about 8 out of every 10 are keepers. A lot of the Kentuckys and big fat ones, 2.5, 2 3/4 pounders, their guts are just, loaded up with eggs. Real fat fish. Now another thing, you can catch them on football jig, 12 to 15 foot deep. You can catch them on Carolina rig, split shots. You can catch them on a tube. But one thing I've been talking a lot about is the Ned rig. And I've noticed with some of the people that I've been taking out, I haven't been doing a real good job explaining how to rig them up. So I thought I'd just go ahead and rig one up to show you how to do it. Most of you may know, but there's a lot of people that don't. Now, a couple different kinds I'm using, and I'm not promoting these kinds because I've got, sponsors by them or anything like that. And I'll show you why here in just a second I use these 2, but I'm using the Strike King Zero and the Z-Man. And the reason I'm using these is because they'll last forever. They stretch like crazy, they won't break. Now, Yamamoto makes an awesome Senko, and I've been using the Yamamoto Senkos if I'm like wacky rigging or throw it Texas style. But on the Ned rig, I prefer to use either the Zero or the Z-Man. I stretched that one out a little too much, but all I'm doing with it is just cutting it in half. And I'm going to use both halves. Now I've got different heads that we use. These are just basically just a crappie head. I just use an 1/8 ounce and a 1/4 ounce. And these here are mushroom head that a buddy of mine makes. One's a 3/16, one's a 1/4. That's usually about the only sizes I use, anything from 1/8 ounce to a 1/4. But what you want to do is just stick the bait up on there. I'll rig up 2 of them. And the super glue I use, it's not super glue, it's super glue gel. And this is Loctite. It's one of the few super glue tubes that I've actually been able to use all of the glue before the dang thing hardens up. But then you just take and put a couple drops right up on the side of the head. Then with this, where this stuff is real stretchy, you got to push it up in there real good. Hold it for just a second or so till it sticks, and then you're done. The reason I use the stretchy deals is usually you'll lose it before you wear out the bait. They last forever. The colors that have been working good for me is this one right here, which is a Bomber Craw. The other one I've been using is a Green Pumpkin or a PBJ. I'm out of the PBJs. Most all the places around here are out of them because everybody's been using them so much. They're kind of hard to find. But I'll be getting my jig heads at Sportsman Factory Outlet. Bass Pro also has some. Some of these, like this one here is an Arky head, and I've been getting them at Walmart. I think the local tackle store down here at Kimberling City's got something that you can use. I don't know what brand. And a lot of people are making these ones with the mushroom heads. Now these little crappie ones, even though they don't have a real good hook, they seem to be working, real well. If a fish takes it deep, you can just grab it with the pliers, pull it out, the hook will straighten. You can straighten the hook back out, keep using the bait. Now something else I want to go over real quick on a spinning reel. Even though I find, a lot of you probably know this, but I find even people that, guys that are real avid fishermen that don't fish spinning reels very much, tend to have a problem with memory and twisting their line. The biggest problem people do with a spinning rod is after they cast, they engage, they close the bail by turning the reel handle. And I think you'll find is right after you cast and the bait hits the water, if you close that mechanically by hand, you'll get a lot less loops back in your spool. What happens is when that spool is just sitting there open, that line will kind of come off like that, and a lot of times it'll get a loop back in, and a lot of times you can't get the loop out. You got to cut the line off. So just a little tip: as soon as you cast, the bait hits the water, close the bail by hand. Try to keep that line from coming off by itself. You'll have a lot less problems with memory in your line. Good luck, good fishing.